I love this world, I love this character, I love being in it, and I love telling Philip's incredible story.
It's just bigger. The first 2 seasons are kind of figuring out the world around Lyra, whereas now you've kind of set the premise.
It's wild. It's a wild season. It's very philosophical.
It's been great to come back for season 3, and it's going to be upsetting to bring it to an end because you kind of build a family with these people. I'm proud of everyone and happy to be a part of it.
When we first meet Lyra, she is an orphan, her best friend's Roger. She has an uncle called Azrael who visits her, who doesn't really pay much attention to her. He's not really there, he's quite absent. She kind of wants to be like him, and she wants him to love her because she really admires him and he's her only family.
I set out for the north some 12 months ago. This is the first of the discoveries I made. A city in the sky.
Azrael is a gentleman, a scholar, an explorer, a scientist, adventurer. He's a father, but he's a very bad father.
I am sorry, but I just don't have time for you right now.
We discover that she, in fact, isn't an orphan. Both of her parents are alive. They can keep her.
I like you, and I want to offer you a position as my assistant.
We see Mrs. Coulter, and she is, to all intents and purposes, an evil villain. And she's very high up in the Magisterium, which is considered an oppressive and evil institution in Lyra's world. And in that world, she is responsible for separating humans from demons. So she's pretty horrific. We also find out, of course, that she is Lyra's mother.
She's your mother, Lyra!
No.
Azrael sets out to blast a hole in the sky, which will create a gateway to another world.
Roger disappears, which leads her to having to go through this whole adventure where she goes to the north.
It's an alethiometer. It tells you the truth.
Lyra!
She finally finds Roger. Roger then gets killed by her father in front of her.
He manages to ostracize his daughter, who I don't think ever forgives him, really. So he succeeds in getting out of his world and into another.
We start off on season 2 with Lyra, who's been in this new world that she's discovered because she's gone through the portal that Azrael created. Lyra Silvertongue.
Will Parry.
She bumps into Will, who she kind of teams up with.
Will especially, and I think Lyra as well, have kind of fended for themselves in some way. And I think that's what they have in common. They're both outcasts. And I think they both like that, the fact they're able to talk to someone about how they feel and someone who understands it.
We start to learn that Mrs. Coulter is actually much more complicated than just being an evil villain.
The colonelship is yours. You just need to show some strength.
She, of course, is incredibly intelligent and has a natural instinct and wisdom and ambition, but because she has existed and lives within a patriarchal society, there's limits to what she can really achieve.
I'm leaving.
Are you going to find Azrael?
I'm in search of something infinitely more valuable.
Her mother is looking for her. She loses her alethiometer, and then her and Will go through this whole adventure. She still really misses Roger, but it's kind of confusing because she's now met Will.
So Azrael has spent most of season 2 building his republic, which is essentially a military outpost on an abandoned, barren world, which is a safe place for refugees from the authority and their institutional oppression.
Will becomes the bearer of the knife, and they have to go to see the father.
There's a war coming, Will.
And he's been told by his father at the end of season 2 that he needs to take the subtle knife to Azrael. There's a war that's coming. Will's needed to fight in it.
While Will's gone off to see the father, Lyra has been kidnapped by her mother.
Hello, Lyra.
Throughout season 3, we start to see her learn about what it is to be a mother and how it involves love and the ultimate sacrifice.
It's the most decision-driven season so far. It's the one in which she most matures. She has to take conscious decisions instead of just following what is supposed to be right.
The triumph of the physical over the theological, belief in magic, questioning authority.
Love, loss, coming of age of Will and Lyra that we get to see them grow up, which is great.
It's really exciting, it's bold, it's wild, it's crazy.
There's so many more storylines, there's so many more characters. There's demons, there's worlds without demons.
You're going to see more world creation, more world building, and I think you're going to get great, complicated relationships.